This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, getting you ready for today's sports day.
3 of the first 4 games have been at home, so at some point in time you're going to have to venture outside the 806, so that'll start this week.
While having a little fun along the way.
Always good if you can blame it on somebody else, right?
Yeah, sure.
Especially some media guy.
Sure. Right, some media guy.
Catch the show live weekday mornings from 6 to 9 on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3.
I do want to remind you about a nifty little feature that we've got for you right now on doublet973.com and 107thescore.com. Basically, it's our shows trimmed down to the best of the best. It's our podcast, right? Sometimes our shows are entertaining and you've got to listen to the whole 3. Sometimes you can whittle it down to about 45 or 50 and you get just like the center cut of the ribeye.
The Cliff Notes.
The Cliff Notes, right.
All the good stuff.
All the good stuff.
It's like we cut the crust off the edges of the bread for you.
Oh, I kind of liked it when that was, the case. Sometimes you cut the little crust off the edge of the bread, made for the sandwich just a little bit better. We have 7 shows that are available daily on our podcast. So go to doublet973.com or 107thescore.com. Where you'll find the podcasts that include the Morning Drive, Tech Talk, Into the Bench, and the Bottom Line. Plus, on a weekly basis, Thetford Nashby and the Saturday Morning Quarterback, along with Ask Level podcast. All of those available. So just do that at your own leisure, not on our time. Okay. Well, I don't want them missing something spectacular here while they're tuned into the podcast.
That's very kind of you, Chuck.
Do that like
very kind
after
of
6
you.
o'clock at night.
Didn't we just say that the podcast is the trimmed down version of the show?
Yeah.
That means there's stuff that we can trim out.
Okay.
I mean, right? That's the way I understand that.
Yeah. Risa says this, Happy Bosses Day yesterday, Jamie. It's nice for you to have Happy Bosses Day on a Sunday. I expect to hear arguing who the boss is now, LOL. We get this. I agree, Jamie. The Big 12 is really entertaining this year because the teams are also closely matched.
Yeah.
I just wish the playoff committee would see the same, but we all know they put more value on records of teams in top-heavy conferences with no parity. Well, I mean, gosh, look at what happened in college football this weekend. Goodness, with Tennessee knocking off number 1 and everything that just transpired throughout the day. So it was quite an entertaining day of college football on Saturday.
Yeah, those 2 games were going on at the same time. The Oklahoma State, TCU, and the Tennessee, Alabama one, flipping back and forth for the conclusion of both of those. That was some pretty good drama.
Clemson also eked out a win over Florida State, 34-28. Eked out maybe a bit of a stretch. Tennessee won 52-49 over Alabama. And that was thrilling all the way to the end. How about Utah knocking off USC 43-42? Utes number 20, SC number 7 in the country. So, and then Ole Miss with a win over Auburn. And your Syracuse Orange knocking off North Carolina State. How about that?
Yeah, that's a little bit deceiving since North Carolina State lost their quarterback and apparently they can't throw the football anymore. Apparently their backup is horrendous. So that good loss is going to end up looking bad because NC State looks terrible.
Okay, well.
Yeah.
You mean that good win?
No, good loss to NC State.
Oh, our good loss to NC State. I got you.
Yeah.
I got you.
It's going to end up looking way worse because they're going to not be the same football team.
How about Kentucky? They were winners over Mississippi State, 27-17. That Mark Stoops program just kind of continues to roll for the Wildcats.
Sure
I wonder if John Calipari was at the game, rooting on the Wildcats.
You mean Coach Cal?
Coach Cal, right?
Yeah.
Coach Cal.
Mm-hmm.
All right, Coach Cal. I wonder if he was at the game. Cheering him on. I don't know. There you go. Let's see here. This TCU is really quick on offense. Yes.
That one receiver is You should definitely put a couple of guys on him.
You're right. Can we play with 12? Can we petition the Big 12 to play with 12? We get this. Yes, this is a true statement. We have been competitive in every single game thus far. We can win any Saturday we play. That's a true statement.
Fair.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we also have to admit that we can also lose.
Yeah.
Because all those teams look like they're decent.
Dan in Dallas asked, Chuck, did you get a good rest with the bye week? Are you healed up and ready to go this week? I had another event Saturday. I was with the kids from Magic 106.5. We had the King of the Brown Sound, little Joey La Familia in town. It was a highly entertaining show Saturday night.
The King of what?
The King of the Brown Sound, Little Joe. The King of the Brown. I mean, that's what he goes by. He's an Emmy winner. He's a legend. Guy's 82 years old, and he was taking shots on stage on Saturday night at about midnight and performing like he was 42. I met some Morning Drive listeners there. Had a couple of them, couple chatting with me.
It's good.
Yeah.
Good.
And
glad you didn't go talkless.
No. Talkless. No. Come on, Jamie. You know me, man. I'm not going to go talkless. And watched some baseball while that was going on. A couple of gals were really, really into the Astros.
How could you not be, man?
Man,
that
game was just it was captivating. So, the Seattle's man alive. Those are games that they lost to Houston in this division series that just are going to live with them to their graves.
The best sweep, the most entertaining sweep ever. Mm-hmm. I mean, all three of those games were fantastic.
No doubt.
And the Mariners probably feel like they could have won any of the three.
Yes.
And they didn't. And credit the Astros for finding a way to get it done and all that good stuff. But that was a great series.
I mean,
Jamie, were you as frustrated with as I was with Seattle? I want to say it was like the 12th or 13th inning when they got the runner on first and second and their big power hitters up, so the Astros move into the shift. And he does what he does and tries to hit one out and gets the out, as opposed to squeaking a bunt down the left-hand side to score that, because it was 2 outs with a runner on second. He's moving on the pitch. He's scoring from second at that point. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah. I mean, if you can get that done.
I understood why the Astros were in the shift there. I'm not anti-shift in Major League Baseball. I think it's stupid they're getting rid of it. If we're trying to make offense better in all sports, let's make people over 7 feet tall in the NBA not be able to jump anymore, because it's not fair for people who's 6'5".
Jump or dunk?
No, they can still dunk,
okay.
But they can't jump. So if they can reach up there and put the ball in, which we've seen happen, that's fine.
Right.
That's where I put the getting rid of the shift. All you have to do is learn how to hit it the other way. But it felt like Seattle could have won the game right there in that situation. And it was, no, we're just going to try to hit this over the wall. And I realized that's what they're doing all year long. But I was so frustrated to watch. Every time they saw the runner at second and Bregman basically shaking hands with him, I'm like, what are we doing here? Why is this game still going at this point?
It's the way baseball goes at this point, Jeff. Nobody's trying to do that.
Astros win it 1-0 in 18 innings. Crazy ball game. Mm-hmm. And they'll take on the Padres of San Diego, who win their series 3-1 to the Dodgers. Man, oh man.
Oh, the Padres will play the Phillies.
I'm sorry, the Padres.
Astros in the American League.
I still have the Astros in the National League. I'm sorry, you're right. Phillies knocked off the Braves. So you kind of look at this and go, man, Phillies beat the Braves. Padres beat the Dodgers. We're going to have a newcomer to the World Series, relative newcomer to the World Series. I mean, the Phillies have won it before, obviously. But for a team that fired their manager, here they are. They find themselves in the National League Championship Series. And the Padres, who lost one of their biggest players because of, doping.
I'm loving this because I didn't like the dude's attitude. Thought he was way too high on himself, and now his team is doing spectacular without him. I am loving it. I am totally pulling for the Padres. And
now you have you're sitting on pins and needles, right, with this Game 5 for the Yankees and the Guardians?
Sure.
We'll have that for you after the high school fan zone tonight. Weather permitting in the Bronx. Apparently, there's some rainy weather. It's that time of year in New York. So we'll see. We'll see who advances on to take on the former National League team, Houston Astros, in the American League Championship Series. This day in sports history is next.
Your morning dose of coffee and sports. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3. Catch the show live weekdays from 6 to 9 on Double T 97.3 FM or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.
Time for this day in sports history. Today is the 17th day of October, 2022. Here is Jeff McGuire.
Going to start in 1956. Because I didn't feel like talking about baseball players in 1800 getting salary. So the chess game of the century took place.
Oh, okay.
13-year-old Bobby Fischer defeats 1953 U.S. champion David Bryan in the Rose Wallen Memorial Tournament at the Marshall Chess Club in New York City. 1964, New York Yankees New York Yankees fire manager Yogi Berra. I don't know why catcher's even in this sentence.
Well, he was
Yogi
one.
was a catcher.
Right, he was a catcher.
Yeah.
But was he a player manager? I thought he was just the manager at that point.
Well, I don't know.
I don't know why the word catch. I'm so lost in my own writing. 1968, U.S. men's 4x100 freestyle relay team of Zach Zorn, Stephen Reich, Ken Walsh, and Mark Spitz swim a world record 3:31.7 to outlast the Soviet Union and Australia to win the gold medal in the Mexico City Olympics. 1971 Baseball World Series, Pittsburgh Pirates beat the Baltimore Orioles 2-1 at Memorial Stadium to claim the championship, 4-3. Pirates outfielder Roberto Clemente, your MVP.
That was a Sunday afternoon. I ended up in the hospital that day. Well, at the hospital.
I hope you were okay.
I got tackled out of bounds in neighborhood football. So.
Hope they tossed that guy. 3-game suspension for
We were
him.
grounded from Simon Conroy for a period of time, but it all ended.
Conroy kids.
1974. The New Orleans Jazz begin a 28-game road losing streak. Oof. 1982. Robin Yount is the first...
Yount. You said Yount.
Yount.
I don't
Yount.
think I've ever heard it that way before.
It's Robin Yount.
Huh.
Well, I don't know who you've been around.
I've been one... I have like 1,000 his baseball cards. Huh.
Well,
Okay.
Robin Yount.
So, yeah, he's the first to have 2 4-hit games in a World Series.
That's a pretty good series right there.
1989.
He's doubting me.
No, I'm not.
Yes, he is.
My mind is blown. There's a completely different philosophy here. Because both you and Chuck are agreeing, therefore I have to be wrong. 1989, earthquake in San Francisco on a 6.9 Richter scale cancels the third game of the World Series.
Wow.
Ultimately, 67 people would lose their life to the earthquake.
Oh, man.
Al Michaels was just terrific that night with his just knowledge of San Francisco, and he went from play-by-play guy at the World Series to news broadcast because they were showing all the helicopter shots, and I mean Michaels knew all the back streets and whatnot. That's that building. That's that building. That's that building. He was awesome.
I'll never forget the pictures of that bridge that had collapsed on itself.
Yeah.
That was
something.
2000, Major League Baseball, American League Championship. New York Yankees beat the Seattle Mariners 4-2. Is this the 117-win Mariners team, Jamie? 2000?
The Yankees knocked him out?
Yeah.
Yes.
I got one thing right today, at least. It's National Pasta Day.
Okay.
Happy birthday to Marshall Mathers is 50. You may know him as Slim Shady.
Okay. I know who he is now.
Also Eminem.
That's where the M&M part comes from.
Yeah. Oh, thank you.
May know him as Slim Shady.
Alan Jackson, 64, and John Rocker, 48. And on this day in 1973, the Arabian-dominated Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries, also known as OPEC, announces a decision to cut oil exports to the United States and other nations that provided military aid to Israel in the Yom Kippur War of October 1973. According to OPEC, exports would be reduced by 5% every month until Israeli evacuated the territories occupied by the Arab-Israeli War in 1867.
Arab.
The ARAB. You tell me what else you would want me to call that.
It's just funny how you said that. It was just funny. It was just funny.
I'm just going with what I got here. In December, a full oil embargo was imposed against the United States and several other countries, prompting a serious energy crisis in the United States and other nations dependent on foreign oil. And that is this day in sports history.
All right, so if you're tired of playing games with your radio stations that you feel like you're competing against everybody from Sheboygan to Schenectady, you don't have to do that here.
That really is a place.
That really is a place. You're just competing against Joe down the street with our secret word of the day. Okay, so this is the time of day that we give a secret word as we've teamed up with the Home Zone, where they make your house a home every single day but Sunday, because they want you to spend time at home, in your home. All right? Okay.
Good.
We're going to give away $10,000 on November the 18th. Obviously, the more times you enter, the more chances you have to win. That makes sense, right?
It does.
Okay.
It does.
So today is the 17th day of October, 2022, and the secret word is ravens. Ravens, R-A-V-E-N-S, ravens. They did not have a good ending to their day yesterday, but today they're the secret word at 6:51-ish.
You cannot type in terrible late pass by Lamar Jackson late across the middle of the field and win. You have to put Ravens in.
Right, Ravens, R-A-V-E-N-S, without dollar signs for Lamar Jackson, who wants lots of them. I guess he'll get them.
He will.
I guess he'll get them.
He's a conundrum, in my opinion.
Yeah.
He's. I mean, I still think he's very, very good. I don't know. I'm just not sold on him.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
But he is an amazing athlete.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, I wanted to
Looks
ask,
like he could be a stud at like any sport. I bet he's got some serious wiggle on the basketball court too.
Some serious wiggle.
Yeah.
Okay. Could you make him a tennis player?
Oh yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
I wouldn't want to face him in ping pong.
Ping pong?
I would not want to face him in ping pong.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Hey, I had this on my list of things to ask you about today. The way that these these division series have been played so far, with the Padres beating the Dodgers and the way that the Astros won, like you said earlier, the Mariners could have won any of those three, and it goes 18 innings and it's 1-0, and it's just compelling, thrilling, sit on the end of your seat kind of baseball. Is that good for baseball, or do you think people? There are some that will go, oh, what a terrible, terrible division series. Because I loved it.
Yeah, I don't know what to say as far as there are close games with high drama. I guess if you're somebody that only wants to see runs, you say I didn't enjoy it. Sure. And I guess you're the same people that wants to see every football game be 56-52.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't.
You maybe it swings some people back to the other side that, hey, a 1-0 baseball game can be pretty exciting.
People don't like baseball, and I get it, and I don't think good postseason games are going to change that, or not good postseason games. People just don't like the sport because it's slow and there's a lot of downtime, and I understand. I mean, I get it. I love it. I enjoy it. I don't have to have information flashing in front of my face every single second. I don't need action every single second. We're just made different than we used to be when baseball was a very popular sport, and you kind of enjoy the beauty of its pace and all that kind of stuff.
Sure.
But we're made differently as people now. We can't watch a sporting event or a television show without our phone in our hand, looking up stats and doing all that kind of stuff, and getting in text groups with our buddies to comment on every single play. We take in sports differently than we used to, and I mean, I don't think you can ever make this generation love baseball. It's just not going to happen. And so, whether it was good or bad for baseball, if you're a baseball fan, you were entertained by it. And if you're not a baseball fan, you weren't entertained by it. It's not going to change.
Yeah, that's probably fair. I was hoping you were going to say something else, but you're probably spot on.
I bet you say that to yourself a lot.
No,
I was really hoping Jamie would be more entertaining today.
No. I think you were spot on. I was hopeful that maybe some people would go, "Oh man, that was awesome stuff there on Saturday night."
You're listening to the Morning Drive podcast from Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3, recapping the night that was in the world of sports.
A little bit later on tonight, we'll have the Astros and the Diamondbacks. That'll be at 8. And then the Rangers playing at Seattle tonight.
And also bringing some humor to your day.
Was it pretty big?
Yeah, I mean,
Was it impressive?
Yeah.
Was it fascinating?
I thought it was fascinating. It kind of smelled, but I mean.
Hear the show live weekday mornings at 6 on Double T 97.3 or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.
There was concern about the cacti that we have here on the anchor desk. We've retrieved it from outside. It gets a drink and some sunshine during the weekend.
That's good.
Okay, so Jeff and Mike Gustafson are the caretakers for the cacti.
Okay.
So they're good caretakers.
They were in a different spot than they normally when I come in. I wasn't awake enough to look.
Let's see here. From the Yates Flooring Center chat line, my friend Elmer says this: move Donovan Smith to a Crabtree receiver. What do you think about that? I wonder how he would feel about that.
That's what I think about it. Does it? I mean, it's only if that's what Donovan Smith wants to do.
Yeah.
I mean, if he'd rather be a backup or a third-string quarterback, or would he rather be a guy that? I mean, it's not quite that easy.
Sure.
It's like, oh, you're a good athlete. Oh, so you can immediately
go
be
there
great.
and play X, Y,
go
or
and
Z
we'll
or
start you at
whatever.
receiver next week.
Yeah.
I mean, you probably need to work at it a little bit, right? Or he hasn't running a lot of routes and learning timing
like
with the
job. You just can't
quarterbacks.
walk in off the street, and
Oh, really?
sit in Jamie's chair, right? Probably could sit in mine, but I mean, not in Jamie's, because that's where the logical, smart stuff comes from. That chair.
No, you're the one that's got the hard work. I just comment on things you say.
Yeah, which I don't know.
So,
that seems pretty difficult to me.
Seems like the lucky lady would be perfect for this job.
She feels like she's got enough sports in her life as opposed to sitting down and talking to me for 3 hours a day. All right, we get this question. I agree with you, and I wonder if I mean, his dad is an NFL coach. Let's just keep that in mind. At what point in time does father say to son, "Hey, kiddo, I realize you really like being QB1 there at Texas Tech, but your path to the NFL may not be through the quarterback spot. If I'm advising you like a coach, even though I'm a running backs coach, if I'm advising you like a coach, I'm advising you, let's go play another position, and let's go somewhere and play in the National Football League for 10 years or 8 years. And you can make a lot of money. You can be set for life. And, you're not going to be the starting quarterback at Texas Tech, but you're going to be a serviceable receiver for 8 to 10 years in the National Football League. Potentially, right.
That doesn't act like it's a slam dunk.
No, it's no slam dunk.
He's not the first athletic guy.
No, he's not.
That we've ever had step on our campus. Just because he's a good athlete doesn't mean he's going to be a 10-year pro in the NFL. But does it feel like he would have a chance to do that if he moved to wide receiver? Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Red Raider 2 Guns has asked, what are people seeing in Morton that I am not? Why do people think he's the future? He also says that he is shocked that people want Donovan Smith to switch positions.
I don't know why he's shocked. I mean, you can look at his skill set and feel like, well, it makes sense that if he's not the starting quarterback or he's not a key guy at the quarterback position, that he could possibly help you there. So I think it makes sense why people question or wonder about that. But again, as I said, that's totally up to Donovan Smith, whether that's something that he wants to do.
Sure,
or I mean, he may just say, you know what, I love playing quarterback. I have no desire to be a wide receiver. If I'm not playing quarterback, I don't want to play football. Then and maybe that's the way he is. I have no idea.
Yeah.
I have no clue. But I just think people looked at Morton as a guy who took care of the ball better than Donovan Smith, and a young guy who maybe made his decisions a little bit quicker. Now, I think we need to tap the brakes a little bit on Barron, because we also saw Donovan play a lot of games that he was really good in too.
Sure.
But then we saw some struggles at times. So let's see if this, freshman can be consistent and with defenses. Now the defenses have seen him a little bit, like they can game plan for him and all that good stuff. So, I mean, let's not, make him the next Tom Brady yet.
Okay.
But let's, let's see how he adjusts to the adjustments that are made to him.
Okay. I'm also curious today when Coach McGuire meets with the media, status of Miles Price. Hopefully the bye week has helped him get as healed up as he can. And then also Adrian Fry, what's his status look like? Because, the thought was he was going to play a lot more against, I think, at least that was the indication it seemed like, that he was going to play more against Oklahoma State than what he did. And how much does that help things, change things? And does Xavier White's remain as the punt returner? That may look like a job that he has won. And if Fry's not 100 that you would want.
I thought Miles Price was really good at it too.
Well, but I mean, he's been dinged. He's been dinged too. So, and as far as the defense. I mean, I'm knocking on wood here. I'm not totally aware of the injury report because they don't necessarily do one other than what he says. Seems to be pretty healthy. So maybe the week off just helps them with bumps and bruises and, soreness and, get some fresh wheels underneath them. Seems like the bye week, Jamie. Seems like the bye week came at a good time.
I would agree.
Seems like the bye week came at a good time.
You mean after 5 straight games after taking on a ranked opponent, it was a good time to have a day off? No way.
Let's see. Raiders dead.
Or the fact that all 3 of your quarterbacks were injured?
Sure.
Yeah.
No way.
Sure. But bye week came at a good time.
It did.
It took me an hour.
Halfway through your season? No way.
It took me an hour and 22 minutes to get to it. But, I mean, I think that I showed great restraint on that, Jamie.
To be fair, to you, Chuck, it took you a week, an hour and 22 minutes to get to it.
Yeah.
Are you going to ask him that question today?
No, I don't think so. I don't know that I really have any just, aching in my bones questions for him today. I think I might just be a casual observer today. I don't know. I may think of something that just really kind of stands out to me.
Good.
Do you have any,
ask him if there was a strategy for scheduling the bye week then.
You asked one strategy question in your life, and here we are 10 years later.
No.
And it's still coming back to haunt you.
It's not one strategy. You can ask all the strategy, tell us what was the strategy. That's fine.
Yeah.
But asking Coach Kingsbury if there was a strategy.
If there was.
No, Chuck. We flipped a coin.
Hey, that can be a strategy.
He knew what I was talking about. We don't have that clip, I don't think, anymore.
Not for quite some time.
Yeah, we don't have that clip. Let's see. Chuck, I'll bet all the money in my pocket you can't just be a casual observer. How much money you've got in your pocket? Do you carry cash? Jamie probably...
I'll throw mine in there, too.
Jamie's not a betting man, but he'd probably throw his in there as well.
That seems like easy money there.
Yeah. Raiders dad says this. Pump the brakes, Charles. He's less than 10 games into his college career. He's played all of 1 year of high school quarterback. I think he has a lot of potential. That being said, I don't think right now he's the best quarterback on the roster.
I agree with all of that. And again, I also go back to, what was the stat through his first 8 starts, that 6 of them were against top 25 teams?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And
Something like that.
And I think he won 4 of them. I think that was the stat. So, I mean, I think there's a lot of potential there, too. If I'm him, I don't know that I'm giving up on playing quarterback. If at the end of this season, Texas Tech says to him, Coach McGuire, Coach Kitley, whoever, it looks like you're the 3rd string guy. And it appears that at the end of the year, or maybe they don't even have to say it, it looks like he's the 3rd string guy. I'm not thinking, I'm going to move to tight end or wide receiver. I'm thinking I'm going to find somewhere else to play quarterback.
NC State may be a place for me, or wherever.
I don't know. I'm just, that's what I would, if I was him, that's what I probably would be thinking.
Okay.
But maybe he loves Lubbock and Texas Tech so much that, like, whatever I can do to help here, that's what I want to do.
His parents moved away and he stayed here, so that's good. Mm-hmm. It's a good sign. All right, 7:25 this morning. You got a question for me? Mm-hmm. Okay, great. Mm-hmm. Good question for yourself. It's a daily question for Jamie. Why am I here? 7:25 this morning on the morning train, because you enjoy us so much, right?
What have I done to deserve this?
Oh, what have I done to deserve this?
It's one of my favorite 80s songs.
Question of the day is next this morning on Double T 97.3.
Getting your sports day started the right way. This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3, breaking down the biggest games.
If Texas Tech does not win the Big 12 football conference, who are you rooting for to win the conference if Tech does not win it this year?
Well, busting some chops along the way.
I hold back on sending you stuff. I mean, I'm very, very, very judicious.
We spend 3 hours a day, 5
Right.
days a week
I know.
together. Why would
Yeah.
we need to communicate during the weekends?
Right.
Save it for the show.
We do. We save it for the show.
Tune into the Morning Drive live weekdays from 6 to 9 on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3. Jamie's question of the day on Double T 97.3 is presented by Bizarre Solutions. Call them today for a free cybersecurity audit.
All right, question of the day, sir.
Man, I thought we were going to get a cool 80s song there, and instead we got the Copacabana.
Sorry.
Disappointed with our producer right now, Chuck.
Yeah,
This is a swing and a miss.
it's
right
Monday,
there.
yeah.
All right, I do have a question. I talked to you earlier about the fact that I think this Big 12 conference is really, really fun.
Mm-hmm.
It feels like on any given day, anybody can beat anybody. I'm having a blast watching not just the Red Raiders games, but the rest of the conference games are all very competitive and entertaining.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's good that it feels like everybody's good enough to beat just about anyone. But my question for you today is, I want you to look ahead to the end of the season.
Mm-hmm.
Who's going to play for the Big 12 championship?
Okay. Let's see. Right now we've got TCU and K-State that are at the top at 6-0 and 5-1 respectively. Plus Texas and Oklahoma State are right there. Okie State is 5-1 and Texas is 5-2. KU is 5-2. KU is I think Cinderella. The ball is over. Okay, they've turned into pumpkins.
If they weren't KU, I'm sorry.
Yeah,
I thought you were talking about KSU then. My apologies.
KU's
Keep going.
turned into a pumpkin. I don't think anybody else has a chance to be in the discussion for the Big 12 championship as of now. Sooners are 4-3, Iowa State 3-4, Tech 3-3, Baylor 3-3, West Virginia 3-3. I don't think the conference championship will be from. I think it's now between 4 teams. Okay, TCU, K-State, Texas, and Oklahoma State. I think we're going to see a rematch of TCU and Oklahoma State in the Big 12 championship game.
Okay.
If you'd asked me before this week, I would have a different answer than I do today. Like, completely. Because for what I saw with my own eyes before, I thought that Oklahoma State was better than Kansas State. And I thought Oklahoma State was the class of the conference. With what Texas has done with their starting quarterback and with what TCU did against Oklahoma State, I've got TCU and Texas in the Big 12 championship, and I almost want to vomit a little bit in my mouth when I say that.
That'll be one I won't watch. And yours was Oklahoma State and TCU, so you both have TCU in there.
Yeah.
Okay. Boy, this goes against what we saw this weekend, but I'm going with Oklahoma State and Texas.
Oh, okay. Pair of orange teams.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Also won't watch that one. But, I think...
it does go a little against what you said earlier about Texas and their game against Iowa State.
Yeah, they look... just Texas, I think Texas clearly is a team that at times just doesn't get up, doesn't get going. Because they can look really good at times, but boy, did they kind of lay an egg offensively against Iowa State. That should have never happened. Or maybe we need to give Iowa State's defense some credit. I mean, we talked about them giving up just the 24 points in 2 games, and then they give up, 24 more in this one. But, I think Texas, to me, has a really big upside. I think they're a better team with Ewers in there. And I think Oklahoma State is the best team in the conference. I think they just... I think they play TCU at TCU 10 times. They're winning 8 of the 10. I just think they let it slip away at the end there. I think they're the better team. I do think TCU is a good football team. I really do. Both offensively and defensively, they can make plays. Kansas State, I mean, it's hard to criticize them too much. I just don't think they have the upside of those other 3 teams.
Okay. TCU in that game against Oklahoma State rushed for 224 yards, passed for 286. They had 510 yards of offense. Yet 3 of 13 on 3rd down, 0 of 1 on 4th down. That's crazy. And they had 27 first downs in the game to Oklahoma State's 19. By the way, you'd be proud of the young phenom on Saturday evening. As he was getting ready to leave and I was leaving, he was he wanted to know, hey, just let me know if the copycats lose. That's what he called them, the copycats. Let me know if the copycats lose. I'm like, who told you to call them the copycats? And he said, you did. He goes, you told me that they copycat everything that we do. He goes, they do the gun thing, they have the horse, they have this, they have that. He goes, the copycats. Just let me know if the copycats lost.
Poor kid.
I was proud of him for just referring to Oklahoma State as the copycats. He has no chance. I was really proud of him. 43-40, copycats lose to TCU in double overtime. Let's see. Oklahoma State versus UT will be a knockout game this weekend. Okay. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see about that. 85 in West Texas Desert Breeze at kickoff on Saturday. Can't beat it with a stick. Okay. That'd be a nice, should be a nice afternoon, I would think, for college football there at Jones Stadium. Here's the games. Kansas and Baylor, they'll play at 11 in Waco. Then West Virginia and Tech at 2. At 2:30, it is Texas and Oklahoma State. And then Kansas State and TCU will play at 7 o'clock. Okay, that's the lineup for this weekend in terms of the Big 12.
It's a good one. Yeah. I mean, feels like each and every week they're fun games.
Yeah, no kidding. Yeah, no, it's latest. Let's see, latest top 25 features Georgia at 1, Ohio State 2, Tennessee 3, Michigan 4, and Clemson 5. TCU is up to number 8. Oklahoma State drops 3 places to 11. Also in the top 25, Kansas State, they stay flat at 17. Texas is up 2 spots to number 20. Cincinnati is number 21 in the poll, and Utah is at 15. They may be in the Big 12. Cincinnati will be in the Big 12 next year. And that's it as far as the newcomers and the current Big 12, current 10. Okay, so 4 to come. Somebody says, what time do you think the West Virginia game will be? It'll be at 2 o'clock. They've already announced that. Yep. The question is, what time is the Baylor game going to be?
We'll find out later today.
Well, do you think so?
We usually find out a week in advance on Monday.
Okay. Yeah,
I don't think they'll put it on their 6-day window.
Yes, I think so.
Okay. You think we'll find out later today? All right. 7:38 this morning here on the morning drive. Somebody says, copy cows. Raiders Dad, I've watched a handful of Oklahoma State games this year. It drives me crazy that Xavier Benson is on their team. He has a really nice piece. He was starting here at Tech as a freshman. Would love to have him here. There's a million of those guys out there.
Yeah.
They moved around from here, there, and everywhere.
What are you going to do?
Pay him more money, I guess, but I don't know. At this point in time.
That's fun.
It's about
fun.
It's about all you can do. Hey, did you see... I just thought this was a crazy number. So Michigan played Penn State. I got to think some of those linebackers from old Linebacker U are rolling in their grave or, in their workplaces today, probably spitting nails. Michigan ran 418 yards against Penn State this weekend. 418 yards.
And didn't I see where they hadn't given up that many combined in the last 4 games or whatever?
Okay, I hadn't seen that stat, but man, how about that? That's just
it's a big number.
That's a big number. Michigan won. They rolled Penn State 41-17. Michigan 7-0. It looks like that Harbaugh guy's got it going for Michigan.
They're doing all right.
They're doing all right. Michigan pounded out 28 first downs, 563 yards in total offense, 418 on the ground, and allowed 111. Woo! Woo!
Your morning blend of sports.
K-State is coming off a big win over Oklahoma. Of course, the Red Raiders off their 37-34 overtime win over number 22 Texas.
And humor.
Sure to tell them that. You suggested that. And, of course, that got a big laugh.
This is the Morning Drive Podcast from Double T 97.3. Catch the show live weekdays from 6 to 9 on Double T 97.3 FM or on the Double T 97.3 mobile app.
Thank you for being with us today on Lubbock Sports Station, Double T 97.3 and Double T 97.3.com. Cowboys fall yesterday, 26-17. But man, Jamie, I just continue to be impressed with the defense for the Cowboys. I mean, especially when a team gets spotted basically 20 points because of your offense, and to hold them to 6 points in the second half is impressive. Eagles scored 20 in the second quarter, and then just one touchdown in the fourth, and then they held them. They went for a 2-point conversion and did not get it, and Cowboys win the game or lose the game 26-17. But I mean, the Eagles started at the Dallas. They had drives that started at the Dallas 44 that resulted in a touchdown, the Dallas 34 that resulted in a field goal, and the Dallas 46 that resulted in just a field goal to give them a 20-0 lead there in at the half. A 20-3 lead at the half, because the Cowboys then got a big return out of Cavante Turpin. He had a nice punt return in the ball game too. He had a kickoff return of 63 yards. Unfortunately, the drive stalled at the 12. There was an absolute circus catch by Noah Brown. He was out. They called it a touchdown. They reviewed it. He was out. There was no question. Then Maher kicks a field goal with 29 seconds left before the half. But just if they can get their offense kind of rolling with Dak again, there's no question that the Cowboys could make a little bit of a run here and a run in the playoffs, especially with the way the defense has been playing.
There's a chance that, if Dak comes back and you get the offense going a little bit better, then you could be a much better team. I think that, you look at that matchup with the Eagles and, at home later on in the season and feel like that's going to be a big decider. I mean, that could decide the division, could decide, if you need obviously a little bit of help, but it could decide the division and put you in a good spot for a home field contest in the postseason. So I don't think there's any reason to to be bailing on your hope for the Cowboys after last night?
Zeke ran 13 times for 81 yards, averaged 6.2 a tote. His longest was for 14. I thought he ran the ball really well last night at times. I also thought, for the most part, that Cooper Rush wasn't under just extreme duress. You know, I think the Cowboys line has proved themselves to be very serviceable during this time when he's been the quarterback. Tony Pollard ran it 11 times for 44 yards last night. I really like this tight end that they've got, Jake Ferguson. He's from Wisconsin, caught his first touchdown as an NFL player last night. He looked good. 4 receptions for 40 yards. Maybe C.D. Lamb is coming around. He caught 5 balls for 68. He was targeted 10 times. I don't know. I feel, like I said, even though they lost last night, 26-17, I feel like that this is a team that can go places this season.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I mean, you look at some of the games yesterday where you saw teams that were, I mean, for example, the Buccaneers are a team that we think is one of the better in the NFC, and they fall to the Steelers. And help me out here, Chuck. There was another. Oh, the Jets beating the Packers.
Yeah, shocking at Green Bay.
And the Packers are another team that we felt like. I mean, is the AFC that much better than the NFC this year? Is it the Eagles and nobody else?
Well,
the Vikings look like they're pretty good.
The Vikings do look like they're pretty good, and the Giants. They won at home.
Right.
They won at home against the Ravens, and Lamar Jackson, and then but the Saints fall to the Bengals at home. That's not
yeah,
good.
I don't count the Saints as a contender.
No. Losing, but especially with it looks like Cincinnati. Maybe they're kind of getting things
figured it out. Yeah.
49ers lost at Atlanta, 28-14. I kind of thought they were the Packer loss to the Jets was really shocking to me.
Yes, I would completely agree.
That was really shocking. All right, so how about your Bills? 24-20. They went at Arrowhead yesterday. I know they won there last year in the regular year and then lost in the playoffs. But man, it just seems like they have it pretty much really together, especially with Josh Allen. The touchdown throws that he threw were just outstanding. 27-40 was Allen, 329 yards, 3 touchdowns. And what can you say about Stephon Diggs? He is just an absolute beast.
And I guess I will say to you, every single thing that you say about the Bills, I'll throw right back at you at the Chiefs. Okay? Buffalo basically made one more play than the Chiefs did yesterday. Until Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs are dead, they're the favorite. I'm sorry. That's the way it is. And so Buffalo, maybe sets themselves up to, maybe this game will be in Buffalo this year in the postseason. Who knows? But, until Mahomes is the king and the Chiefs are, they're the top dog. And Buffalo can win in the regular season, but until they get past them in the postseason, it doesn't matter.
That's fair. And the Chiefs did score in 12 seconds right before half.
It's super fun. It seems to become a habit.
Habit, right? And they've got their field goal kicker back, Harrison Butker. Although he missed one. He missed a 44-yarder, but he hit a 62-yarder. Into the wind that probably looked like it could have gone. It was kicked high up into the net too, so who knows? That thing could have gone. They didn't give us the next gen stat on that as to how far it would have gone. Didn't get that, but it appeared that it could have been 65 plus at least. He nailed it. But Mahomes threw a couple interceptions. The Chiefs were 1 of 2 in the red zone. Bills were 2 of 4 in the red zone.
Buffalo had
chances too.
Had a turnover and a turnover on downs in the red zone too.
Chris Jones got away with. It'd be interesting to see if he gets fined for tripping Josh Allen. It sure looked like a trip. I
don't think so.
You don't think you don't think it was a trip, or you don't think it was?
Well, he definitely tripped on his foot, but I think when I think of a trip, I think of a guy sticking his leg out
that sure looked
where
like
his
it.
body is not. I mean, his leg jumped in that direction, but he still had his arm reaching in that direction too. I would have a hard time finding somebody over that.
Okay. Do you think he should have been called for a penalty for that?
No.
Okay.
No.
Okay.
Because you could very easily say that he was just throwing that leg out to try to stop him, and because his arm was reaching too. His arm. When you think of tripping, you think of a guy, where his foot's way out in front of the rest of his body. That was not what was going on.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, I think he attempted to do anything he could to get him down and threw the leg out there, but his arm was right there too. So I thought they got it right.
Josh Allen's just a massive individual, 6'5", 237. He sure looks bigger than 237, but man, and then his leaping over that one dude, he looked like a hurdler. He looked like Ronaldo Nehemiah. Remember that guy?
I do.
The hurdler? Ronaldo Nehemiah went over like multiple hurdles, and Josh Allen went over one. I'm not sure that he could beat him in a hurdles race, but anyway, he was impressive. But now it gives Mahomes and company some, I guess, motivation for the future. Chiefs were without a couple of their defensive backs yesterday, so they had some inexperience back there, and Josh Allen made them pay. Made him pay, but he threw absolute darts. I'm not sure anybody that could have knocked down a couple of those passes yesterday. 8:24 this morning on the Morning Drive. Tonight we'll have Monday Night Football. Chargers play host to the Denver Broncos. That follows the Cowboys hour. The Chargers playing, of course, now at SoFi in Los Angeles. And then we'll have the high school fan zone on 100.7 The Score. Coaches from Estacado and Coronado, both those teams were winners over the weekend, so they'll be happy to talk about their teams and what lies ahead this week. And then we'll join the Guardians and the Yankees from the Bronx tonight. This is Game 5. Winner continues, gets to play the Houston Astros in the American League Championship Series. Loser is going to pack up. Did see a report this morning that Dave Roberts will be back as the manager of the Los Angeles Dodgers. They won 111 games.
As he should be.
But man alive, it was a bitter pill to swallow from what happened to them against the San Diego Padres. Many point the blame at Dave Roberts for his use of the bullpen or how he used them. But players got to play, too.
You've been listening to the Morning Drive podcast from Double T 97.3. For more from Lubbock Sports Station, go to doublet973.com.